Yeah, nah, no
Bass
content.
Players United family, how are you guys doing? We have a very special guest with us in the building today. This is Mr. Bubby Lewis. Man, as I said, he's toured in Japan. He's worked with a lot of big names, including Janae Aiko, Lupe Fiasco, just to name a few. Did I leave any out?
I mean, it's a long list, but
Man, too many to count, man. I feel that, man. Hey, man, before we start, man, go ahead. Give him a little taste of what you do. Mm. Man,
eh,
did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that just now? My goodness, man. Like I said, man, it's so great to have you, man. It really is.
appreciate
And
you,
like I
man.
said, y'all, he posted this album, Mindful Dynasty. It's right there behind him.
Real dynasty.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're gonna start by first I wanna know what kind of bass are you rocking with today?
Always, always MTD. Always.
MTD. Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's nice. Mine's is I have a few actually. That's like that's my fretless geoidinus. That was
Mm-hmm.
what I called my war axe right there in the middle. Like I did
Mm-hmm.
so much. I beat cymbals with that, threw that on the ground, hit walls with it. Of course, that's my Music Man Sterling right there. Well, my dad's, I call him mine. And this is my signature right here, Music Man Bongo 5 string.
Nice.
It's just like me, beautiful and dark at the same time. you know. So man, so tell us about yourself, man.
Uh, I mean, I'm just me. I live out in Cali now, but I'm originally from Flint, Michigan. Uh, I started playing bass when I was almost 15 or something. I just turned 34.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I like making music, and yeah.
Oh yeah. I also hear you're a fan. I also know you're a fan of anime too, because I've been seeing like them stuff you be posting with like Goku and all that. Like what kind of anime are you into?
Everything.
Everything.
If it's action or
Hmm.
fantasy, adventure, I don't care if it's from Dragon Ball to Maho Girls. I like that's like the little magical girls with the wands, like Sailor Moon. Like I watch everything, literally.
Man, and I just got started on Sword Art Online last week, but I ain't start from the beginning. I started from like season 4. I'm
Mm,
like, it was on, so I'm like, why not?
yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
good.
because I kind of grew up with like shonen and stuff with Naruto and stuff like that. Absolutely, man. So tell me about like recent works, man. Like, what have you like kind of been up to? Like, either before or after the quarantine started.
Well, I just actually I was in Japan touring with the pop artists out there right before the whole shutdown happened. I actually got back 2 days before uh, different countries and cities around the world started like restraining flights and locking down nations and stuff. So
Hmm.
it was like the end of February when I got back home. But let me see. I was out there doing some video game composition stuff and working on my next album. Um, touring with the artist out there. Her name is AI. She's like incredible.
Yeah, I heard of AI. Yeah,
Yeah, she's really really dope. We just call her iChum, but she's
I
dope.
can.
But yeah, and came back home and just ever since this has been happening, just spending time with my wife and daughter and working on my own music. Got some stuff I'm gonna be releasing soon. So yeah.
Yeah. I was watching this video on you a little bit earlier. It was like a 2 minute groove. I
Mm.
forgot what it was called. Like I might be butchering this terribly. Please forgive me. Yeah. Oh yeah. Bubby, wake up.
I don't know, man. It's something I did on IG or what?
It was on YouTube actually.
I have no idea. Oh, that may have been something from a couple years ago in Japan.
Yeah, cause like you had like the blonde hair and everything.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That was when I was in the hotel and I woke up. That was before having to go to the venue for the show. And sometimes I'll like when I wake up, the first thing I'll do is practice just to see what my hands and my mind do. You know what
Nice.
I'm saying? So yeah, that was a rough one. Yeah.
Nice. Do you because like when I kind of saw that, like I was like trying to pick something out. Like, well, I feel like, this would kind of be like to narrow that just one thing versus everything else. Like kind of like what was like the main thing that you would kind of use? Like, do you like arpeggios or like pentatonics, or do you just like to just flow?
Honestly, just to be totally honest, I don't think about any of that stuff when I play. I don't think about anything other than notes and what they sound like. Like for me, I think of playing as like talking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So each note is like a word to me. So um the way I do it, my method is if I hear a chord, if I'm playing on, a song or during the show or whatever, I do more listening and I just like literally just listen and then I create an idea in my mind and then I play it. So I'm
Wow.
not thinking about whether or not I'm gonna do a E flat minor pentatonic or I'm gonna play out a Phrygian mode. Like I don't think about any of that. I just play what I hear. My process is just like a singer.
Wow.
Like a singer doesn't say, Stevie Wonder doesn't say, all right, I'm singing Superstition. I know it's an E flat minor, so I'm gonna do an E flat minor pentatonic. He doesn't think about that while he's singing. He just sings the notes that he wants to sing. And he knows what notes that he wants to sing. So for me, I know what notes that I want to play, whether it be fast or slow. So I just do it when I hear it. So the key more so to play like my style, it's just a matter of knowing where every note is on the bass. Once you know where every note is, you should be able to play whatever you hear right in real time, like right on the fly, right in the moment. That's my method.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I actually did hear you say that like in the I forgot who the interview was with, but I did hear you talk about like the Stevie Wonder about like he's not thinking, he just does. And that like in a matter of minutes like changed my perspective on and like the way that I play. So hat off to you for that if I had one, but
I'm not the only one that does it like this, man. It's just the OGs, the legends, this is what they do. Like, the Andrew Gouchets and the, John Patitucci and all these guys. And granted, they can, if they want to, be like, okay, yeah, I'm playing a major, this, that, and other. But in the moment, they're just playing. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what I want to do. I feel like I connect more to the moment and the things that I play will be more emotional. I feel like if I'm just doing it for how I feel right now.
wow. Hey man, talk to me. So like who are some of your biggest inspirations?
I mean, it's literally everybody that any bass player would probably say. I mean, I grew up in church. I mean, I am a church boy till the day I die. So of course Andrew Boucher and Joe Smith, obviously Fred Hammond and Kern Brantley and this is that and other, Alex Al and um, I mean the list is massive, but of course you have John Patitucci and Tom Kennedy and Jocko and Victor Wooten and Victor Bailey, Steve Bailey, Jeff Berlin, blah blah blah, all of those guys. But I will say um, two of my really, really big inspirations are not even bass players, they're guitar players.
Mm,
Alan Holdsworth, rest in peace, and Frank Gambale.
wow.
Yeah, when I started really listening to their music, it really it kind of just changed the way I think about music and even about bass. And aside from that, I'm a big fan of film composers, John Williams, Star Wars, of course, and Hans Zimmer and Alan
Yeah.
Silvestri, A.R. Rahman, who is responsible basically for the entire Bollywood industry, um, Nobuo Uematsu, Final Fantasy composer. Uh, Hidenori Iwasaki, another Final Fantasy, Square Enix guy, all of the Square Enix composers, all video game composers, period, are big inspirations to me. So
Yeah.
it's a massive list, brother. It's a massive list.
I think you and I can both agree that Hans Zimmer is
It's great.
like I love I think one of my favorite pieces from him was from Small Measure of Peace from the movie The Last Samurai actually.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so crazy that you just mentioned Fred Hammond because this Monday I actually am going to be meeting up with Snoop.
Oh yeah, that's my boy.
Oh yeah, he's very
Great, man.
yeah, crazy
Mm-hmm.
good. And so talk to me. So like gear wise kind of you use MTD bass, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Gallion Kruger,
Mm-hmm.
labella strings, groove gear accessories, sorry. And like kind of is there anything else like
Bartolini pickup
Bartolini?
always. Soundbringer, I like to use like the well, it's not really a metronome, it's the pulse, the watch metronome. It's crazy. Excuse me. What else? I gotta make sure I think of everything. Excuse me.
God bless you.
Hip shot bridges. I mean, that's all default for MTD. Um, oh yeah, any and everything Roland and Boss Corporation and V Motor. Like V Motor headphones, every Boss pedal, like anything that is for guitar and bass, I have it. Every keyboard, synth, anything that Roland, like those are my family, like literally any and everything. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much anything. I mean, I'm still sort of waking up, so if
I
anything
hear you, man.
if anything slipped my mind, forgive me. But I think that's everything. Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of mutes do you like? I see you use that on your neck a lot. Is that a mute or
Fret wrap, groove
it's
gear.
a what does that do actually?
It's a dampener. So it's
Dampener.
not like a capo. A lot of people think it's a capo. A dampener. In other words, if you've ever seen certain bass players put a towel or like some foam in the top of their headstock to get rid of like a lot of extra ringing and stuff like that that can happen. This basically does that and more, and it looks
Wow.
better too. So yeah, fret wrap is killing. I mean, I that's another family of mine. Groove gear, like gig bags, backpacks, straps, the fret wraps. They just came out with a hard case called the Capsule. It's like a hard case slash soft case that you can still take on board on the plane, and it'll fit in the overhead and everything. But it has like pockets in it and stuff like that. But it's durable enough to really protect your bass. So yeah, the fret wrap is sweet though. I highly recommend it, especially depending on if you're what type of player you are. If you're into tap style and stuff like that, it's really beneficial. Or if you just want to get nice, clean recordings and stuff, and you don't have time to waste, re-recording certain parts, the fret wrap will really help you to clean up with all those like, overtones and stuff like that happen.
Almost like a compressor, just like kind of just keeps all the sound in and everything. It's so
And
crazy you had mentioned capos just now too, because I was never really like a huge fan of like using capos or like anything like that on the guitar. Like my uncle, who was actually one of my producers, actually did like he kind of says like capo was cheating, like learn the steps. But I actually did kind of get into that. Like this guitar right here that I use was actually kind of like I don't have a capo, so I made like a makeshift capo, with like a hair tie and a pencil, because like I was inspired by the artist, Yvette Young from Covet.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like really inspired by like the neck tapping style and things like that. So I kind of got that from her and like the open tuning sound and those types of things.
The thing about capos is this, and this also applies to 4-string, 5-string, 6-string bass, and all of that. A lot of people don't understand sonically you can't do certain things unless you use one.
Mm.
It is absolutely impossible. Like a person that plays a 4-string bass will never be able to play what a person that plays a 6-string bass can play.
Mm.
sonically. You can't, the higher notes. You can't do it. I'm not talking about the using just that actual note. I'm talking about the tone. You know what I'm saying? So capo, for certain things, it is necessary to get certain quality and tone out of the guitar. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't if you put it up here and the tone changes. But most people, they listen with their eyes, not with their ears. That's why people still argue about 4-string, 5-string, and 6-string. You're listening with your eyes. You're not really paying attention to the music, you know. So capos are dope. You know, I've used them on bass before, and it definitely changes everything. Definitely
Wow.
changes. Yeah.
So this next kind I remember back when I was in high school, like I used to be like especially like then I was like a huge Janae Aiko fan.
Mm.
Like I remember like the first time I came to college and I had a voice class and I had to do her song The Worst.
Mm.
And yeah, so like it's one thing when you really put your feelings behind it and you start grunting the lines. But yeah, talk to me. How was it working with Janae?
And Janae is one of the coolest people. She's just one of the greatest people I've ever been fortunate enough to meet. You know, even before talking about like gigs and touring and stuff like that, she's just dope. Just she's just dope, man. And so crazy because her tour was supposed to have started yesterday.
Mm.
We were gonna hit the road, but you know, because of the situation, it's postponed and whatnot. But working with Janae is dope, man. Studio or live. Um, I love the camp. You know, her producers, Brian Warfield, and my homie Julian, and you know, like just the whole camp. Everybody's cool, man. It's a great vibe. Um, I look forward to to getting back out there and doing some stuff with her.
We all
She's
do.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. So talk to me about this. How was it working? Like how was it in Japan? Like when you were touring throughout Japan?
Oh man, Japan is the greatest place on earth, brother. It's it's I love a lot of different places, but Japan is just it's just amazing, man. It's so hard to sum it up into words how incredible it is. I mean, the level of appreciation for music over there is it's just way different. Like, you know, back to even what I was saying about the 4-string and 5-string, like that type of stuff nobody cares about over there. They're just like music. Like, we just want to hear music. We don't care if you're doing it on 2 strings or 50 strings. And I appreciate that so much because, you know, having synesthesia, like I was born with synesthesia, man. So I see music, I smell it, I taste music, and to be in a place where people can understand that it is, I'm grateful for it. You know, like I go out there as much as I possibly can, and I mean they listen to everything. They love gospel music, they love R&B, they love reggae, they love Indian music, Arabic music, not just J-pop. Like they love everything, and that's so dope to me. So dope.
Yeah, man. Like I've spent I think that's one of everybody's dreams is to go to Japan. Well, not everybody, I can't speak for everybody, but a lot of people that I know.
A lot of people
So
that,
yeah, it's like I remember like when I spent time in I don't know if you know this group or not, but back when I was in high school listening to X Japan
Mhm.
and their bassist God rest his soul Taiji Sawada was
Mhm.
he's one of the people who actually did help me kind of like try to figure out the bass.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like people like just kind of that and you know like through Janae Aiko that's like actually how I found out about you. I found out about you a few years ago through especially one of my friends. His name is shout out Jonathan Mircotton if you're watching this. Just did an interview on him the other day and he showed me you and I'm like wow. And this is kind of funny, but you know, one thing that I did notice about you is kind of when you play, you know, the faces.
Mhm. Yeah.
I love that so much about you, man. I really do.
It's all thanks to synesthesia, man. But I look stupid though. I ain't gonna lie.
Man, you look just fine, man. You look like you're into it, man. Cause like, and that's something like me, cause like I help at my church too. I'm on the worship ministry. I'm basically kind of bassist, you know, guitarist, drummer, piano, whatever they need me to be, vocalist, and like that's just like, you know, you just can't contain it, you know. You gotta let it all out all at once. So I'm up there flipping my head till my neck hurts, and there's been services I came back with my neck was dead, my but man,
It happened.
yeah. When the spirit's
Of
moving and the music is moving too, it's a combination that
course.
wages war on the enemy. You know this, man. So so who do you plan on working with, and where do you plan on working?
Um, Honestly, man, my passion aside from me just, I love to play bass. I love to work with anybody. But my dream and my passion is to just really pursue this, you know, like composition for video games and Japanese anime and film scores, man. That's like I love the stage, I do, and I love to play my own music. I love to perform my own music, but aside from that, it's therapeutic for me to see like a video game that's just empty, just graphics, and to put music to it. Like
Wow.
that's the greatest thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not as exciting, as some people would, expect for me to say, but to me it's like everything. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to doing. Once all this stuff kind of clears up, I can go
Hmm.
back out to Japan and, get back to it. But yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to another artist yesterday by the name of Jamal Bufford. He's part of this hip hop group TBO. They've
Mm,
they've toured throughout the US, they've toured in London, they've done work like that. So he kind of told me that like the kind of secret to like, because like, you know, up and coming artists like myself are really trying to figure out like, you know, touring and things like that. And
mm.
so he talked about like kind of his secret is, you know, like having friends, you know, plus he's got like a booking agent like out in another country and stuff like that. But what kind of are your thoughts, like how do you like do it?
As far as touring goes, man, and just
Yes,
and
yes.
just getting into the industry, I mean, he's right on it. What I've learned is this: it's really about who you know. It's about meeting the right people, and most importantly, it's about your personality. It's about your character. You could be a prodigy at an instrument, but if you're terrible to work with, you will have a hard time finding opportunity. And then there's the other side of the coin where you could be a beginner, but you could be the coolest person and everybody loves you around. You will have a lot of work, more than you can handle. That's what I've discovered in this industry. It's really just about who you know, man. I mean, when I moved out to LA, I couldn't find a gig to save my life. Nobody wanted to work with me at that time because, well, I was an outsider, and at that time, this is before social media and stuff. At that time, it was like if you're not from here, then you don't really fit in. And then two, this was during the time if you watch anime and if you're into comic books and all that kind of stuff, then you're corny. Now it's become like it's a fad to be into anime, and there's a large group of us now that are nerds, so to speak. So but I came at a time where it wasn't cool yet, and so it was hard, man, for people to kind of accept me. And I played a 6-string bass, and back then it didn't make sense to a small group of people, but it was all because of Andrew Boucher. Like, he's the one who got me basically started. That dude made one phone call and got me on my first tour ever with Snoop. And I had just turned 21, and I was literally from no gig one day till him making a phone call, and a few months later I'm on a private jet flying around Europe with Snoop Dogg. It was the craziest, most comic book thing that could ever happen,
Wow.
But it's literally, it was just, you build genuine relationships with people. Never get cool with people just for an opportunity. You want to be a true friend. You want to be a genuine person, and that will bring. I feel like the Lord honors that. You know what I'm saying? If you're real, if you're 100% and you're genuine, you're kind, and you're courteous and cordial and stuff towards everybody, the Lord will provide the opportunities. He'll bring the people right to your doorstep. So it's like you don't even have to look, you know?
Yeah.
That's that's my opinion. I mean, that's how it happened for me. Everybody's is different, but literally just be cool. And
Be
yeah,
cool.
practice, that's important. But the work will find you, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, what you just said kind of I don't know if this makes sense, but would that same thing apply to this? So I thought of this yesterday, and somebody told me this a long time ago. Kind of what they said was like, there are a bunch of talented people. Like there's talented people. You could find people who are probably better than the both of us. But kind of the thing is like, they're like at the underground level and they'll stay. And some people, they say that they'll stay at that level kind of, unless they like know, I don't know if this is like right, but they say like kind of how to promote, how to, because like, kind of what's the difference between that person and the dude over here who's, who's rapping for like probably an underground club of like probably 10 people or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and see those types of situations, man, there's a lot of that. But the thing is a lot of it is exposure. Yeah, it is marketing. It's how you market yourself, and it's how you put yourself out there. I mean, you know, I know a lot of guys that are just so incredible, but not a lot of people may know who they are. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, I think it depends on what you pursue at the same time. Like there's some guys that are so incredible like that, but they don't really care for the whole world to know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They may not care about that. They may just enjoy it that the people in their city know who they are. I know a bunch of guys like that, and I know some guys that they're great players, but like they just have like the gift of like giving themselves to people. So there's millions of people who know they are like they understand like the what's the word? There's like it's a gift for people to like know you. I'm gonna try and explain this. You have to be a certain type of person or have a certain type of personality in order for people to gravitate to you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a closed off person, then maybe a lot of people won't find out about you. But if the more open you are, the more people will find out about you. Like I necessarily wasn't the type of person to be like, I want everybody to know who I am, but I wasn't shut off either. You know what I'm saying? I'm just me. So in return, it was like the opportunity for people to learn who I was, it presented itself. So I mean, it really just depends, man. And then there are some people that are in the underground and they're really trying to get out there, but it's just not happening yet. My advice to that person is just don't stop. If you want it bad enough, it will come for sure. That's a guarantee. But the minute you stop, you could be trying for 20 years to get yourself out there and it's still not happening. But the minute you give up, you could have been like a day or two away from just becoming this world renowned. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
literally can happen like that, but you never know if you stop. You never know.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the things that that Jamal had said yesterday is like, how much do you really love it? Like, do you love it when like times are hard and you're not getting any nobody's booking you, nothing like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
kind of what you just said actually did remind me of something that I read a long time ago. This story of a man who was like basically mining for gold and was like spent so much time and couldn't find it. And so like he took the gear that he had, sold it for a couple $100, and then that was it. But what he found out a long time later, he was only a few inches away from striking that gold.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave up right before
Yeah.
he had the chance to finish it up.
Man, that's what causes people to quit, because they look at how much time they've spent and all the sacrificing. But you have to understand, if there is a formula to success, the formula is your perseverance.
Hmm.
Like there is no like correct remedy of how to become successful and how to be rich and stuff like that. But I will tell you this, for everybody that has done it or experienced it, they all have a story of saying they didn't stop. You know what I'm saying? And how they felt like giving up and they wanted to give up, but they kept going. I mean, I don't care if you want to say J.K. Rowling or even um, George Lucas, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Dr. Seuss, like all of these people dealt with some of the worst criticism. And I mean, they laughed at George Lucas when he was trying to do the first Star Wars movie. They was like, some of the cast and crew was dogging him to his face, telling him this is a ridiculous idea. This script is ridiculous. And meanwhile, he just put his head down and took it. He probably cried some nights, but Star Wars changed the world forever.
Yes, absolutely.
But just imagine if he would have listened to those people telling him this film is gonna flop. You know what I'm saying? It's, you really do have to you gotta close off everything and just keep going. And even when you ain't got no money, even when it's a pandemic like COVID-19, you just have to continue, because the minute you stop, yeah, you wasted all that time. It's
Hmm.
not a waste of time though when you actually get there. It
Yeah.
only becomes a waste of time to you once you quit. You'll look like, man, this long I spent, you know?
Man, yeah, that's kind of what it was like. I did know a person who was like kind of, like this is the year, everybody's either on or off. I'm tired of, pouring my heart out, and nobody's appreciating me. Everybody looks at me like kind of just this. I'm just another kid on a college campus who's trying to make it big. So but I hear you like loud and clear with that perseverance.
And everybody that is successful, or that we look at and we say to ourselves they're successful, they have a backstory, and their backstory comes with a lot of hurt, just like what all of us have experienced. But if they can make it, we can too. But I don't believe in like mopping and moping around. That's not gonna get you anywhere. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Yeah, I've cried and stuff too. I've set up and it seemed like nobody was paying attention to me. But at some point you have to say, man, I don't care. And you have to continue. You have to continue trying. And eventually when it all works out and everything starts coming, you'll be so happy that you held out. I mean, I'm a witness.
Mhm.
I was about to leave California and move to Florida and work construction. I was about to
Mm.
give all of this junk up, because it was like nobody was giving me a chance. Everybody was dogging me for who, not even about music. They were just dogging me just because of who I am. You know, I'm a square. I don't smoke, I don't drink, and all that kind of stuff. And the few people that saw a problem with that and made it known to me. But when I held on and I finally got into the industry, I realized people respect you for being who you really are. So I end up meeting people like Lupe Fiasco that, oh, you're into anime too? Oh, you're into video games too? Me and him was playing Street Fighter and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you really, Snoop is a game nerd, you know? Like this dude, I was getting martial arts movies for this guy, you know, like you realize like, man, it is people in this world that's really like you. And you can't listen to people that are trying to tell you what you're trying to do won't work. You gotta go the other way when they start talking to you. You do.
Yeah. Completely, man. Man, like that's kind of the thing, because like you see the dude on the top of the mountain, but you don't see the miles of glass and barbed wire and all
Yeah.
the stuff that he had to get. That was a photo on Instagram too. But all right, man. Like kind of what are some parting words you could give, like advice to people who want to be kind of where you are right now? So like younger fans.
Man, my advice is don't give up until you make it to where you want to be, but most importantly, don't talk about nobody else along the way.
Mm.
Um, if you see yourself playing on the stage, playing your music with a band or playing with another artist that you admire, that you love, pursue that. And on your journey there, don't dog out nobody else. Never dog out somebody that does something that maybe you can't do, or that you don't understand, or don't you see, or that you don't see a necessity for. In other words, like in the bass world, you got the guys that's the jazz guys hate this demographic over here, whether it be R&B, and R&B guys hate the jazz. Like all of that stuff is corny. Four string, five string, all that junk is just corny. Just play what you want to play. And the thing is this, if there's something you don't like, you're not obligated to do it. But if you have to talk about it and express what you don't like to everybody, then what that tells me is that you have an insecurity about what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, I like fried chicken.
Mm.
Um, I don't necessarily need to tell the whole world eating fried chicken is the best. I just eat it because I like it. You know what I'm saying? I actually haven't had no fried chicken in a while, but
I'm about to in a few minutes too.
you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Just do
Yeah.
what you do. And if somebody else is doing something that you don't really like, or you're not into, or whatever, that's them. Let them do what they do, and you just do what you do. And I mean, you'll save yourself a lot of headache and a lot of bitterness that can hold you back on your journey.
Wow.
That's my advice. To be your own person, and don't try and compare yourself to nobody else. You don't have to be like anybody else. You don't have to do it anybody. You don't have to be a solo bass player in order to be considered a dope bass player. You don't have to be a chord bass player to be considered sweet. You don't have to play for so-and-so biggest rapper in the world or whoever to be considered dope. Like, just do what you want to do and pursue what you want for yourself, not what anybody else thinks is dope. That's my advice.
What would you also say to like somebody like growing their like kind of growing their career, growing their brand, kind of?
Um, give people the honest you. You don't want to portray something about yourself that's not true, because once you do that, you have to uphold it.
Mm.
And that's gonna drive you nuts. In other words, if I say something like uh real bass players or real musicians only come play, with big A-list artists. If I was to say something like that, and let's say I gain some type of fame off of that, I have to uphold that mindset. Because the minute I change and say, well, everybody matters, then people gonna be questioning me like, man, this dude, you know what I'm saying? So give people the honest you, whatever it is you're truly about, give that to them.
Mm.
Put it in your music, put it in, your philosophy of your walk of life. Let the real you come out so you don't have to make any changes later on.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I would have, again, I don't criticize nobody for what they do, but I don't smoke and I don't drink. But if I would have started acting like I do just so I could get people to be like, oh yeah, Bubby is cool, then I would have had to like keep that up. You know what I'm saying? Knowing good and well that I don't do that stuff. So be you, be the real you. And you'll find that it brings you a lot of peace throughout the journey.
Wow. Yeah, this is kind of off topic, man. I love your fashion, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
is that just
I'm a shirt, but yeah.
yeah, man. Like you just like kind of just go off what you feel, or you got like a designer. Yeah, man, that's
My
great.
wife, my wife is my designer, but aside from that, yeah, we just wear whatever we feel like wearing, and I like to dress like an anime character, I guess. So,
Man, that's how I did my hair, man. When I got this cut up, I did this like Captain Levi.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nah, Yeah, that's nice.
Great, man. So where can people find you? Like, where can, like, social media wise, like, where can people like book you and stuff?
Um, I mean, I'm on all social media. I'll be honest. I more so just check Instagram and Twitter. Facebook, I lost track because they only. I have a like page or fan page, whatever you want to call it, and a couple of Facebook pages, but the friend list is full and it's just hard to keep up. But Instagram, I'm on there a lot, answering questions and this is that and other. If people want to book me, you could email me from my website, bubbylewis.com, or Jam Card app just integrated that into the app where you can book artists for different stuff, whether it be recording sessions or mentorship, all of that kind of stuff. They have it on lock now and it's killing. But yeah, I'm on everything, Twitter, all of that stuff.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, before we go, man, I want to play, I feel like, you played something for me, so, I want to kind of give you one of my things.
All right,
I've actually released 2 albums in the last few years,
nice.
and actually have a third one that's on the way right now. It's called Who Am I?
Nice.
And so I just want to give you like kind of a short snippet of something that's off of my first album, if that's cool with you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, I said first, I mean second. So. Let your presence fill this place and give us a feeling that I can't deny. I said, Father, let your fire rain and burn away all that is not like you. I lift you higher and give you everything that you deserve, for you are worthy, deserving, and I give you all of me. I will not keep anything from you. Open up the heavens over us. And let us receive your great love. Send your peace that surpasses all understanding. Yeah. And we will not be silent. We give you all. Open up, living waters washing over us, knowing that you're watching over us. Sorrows covered by your reckless love. You took my shame, you took the blame, you took the hate, took the guilt, you took the pain, you changed my fate. Now it's in your hands, left on your back, up on the cross. Took my place, so now I scream and say that it's your love. You love us in my life, your hope. That keeps me alive, I trust. And you not on my own understanding. Peace, what you giving me, your truth, so that I can see the faithfulness that you show. Open up the heavens over us. And let us receive your great love. Send your peace that surpasses all understanding. And we will not be silent. We give you all.
Nice. Really nice, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you
Very
so
nice.
much, man. Man, I really do
Got
appreciate
a nice
you.
voice, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. You let's see if I got a copy in here somewhere. It's okay. I don't have one with me, but yeah, actually I do have some of the flyers. This is my album. It's called Exodus. I released this last summer.
Nice.
And yeah, like I said, people watching, third one on the way. And man, I really do appreciate you taking time out of your day. Like, it really means a lot to me that you came out and talked to me. Like, really does, man.
Nothing at all, man.
Absolutely, man. I'm like, when all this ends.